Hi everybody, welcome back to the Retro Ghetto. So I love collecting video games, and one subgenre in particular that I love both hunting and collecting for is sleeve cover and steelbook variants. I've been wanting to make this video for quite some time to showcase my entire collection of these games. However, it was a recent game hunt where I found these in abundance, as well as another couple of fantastic finds over the last few weeks, which has really given me that extra impetus to showcase my entire collection now. One of the things that I love about hunting for these games is that you can often find them on the shelves at CEX, hidden amongst the standard copies for a standard price. It really does feel like winning the lottery when you find one of these very rare sleeve covers or steel books in and amongst the standard copies, and it gives you that sort of collector's or hunting boost that keeps you going, right? So yeah, I absolutely love having them both on the shelf, being able to enjoy the artwork on them, but also the high that you get from finding them in and amongst other games when you're out hunting. What I'm going to do on this video today is highlight almost all of them. I've got a lot at this point, so I'm not going to show you all the sort of more bog standard ones, but I'm going to go through all my favourites, console by console. And then at the very end of this video, what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you my top 10. So my favourite 10 variants of steelbooks or slipcovers. Also included in that is going to be small collector's editions. I'm not going to show you the big collector's editions, but the collector's editions that are just sort of in and around the sort of standard game size, I'll include some of those as well. There's some fantastic variants in here, some rare, some that are commonly available, and yeah, hope you guys enjoy it. Let's get into it. Okay, so we're going to kick off with PlayStation 3, and this is just some of my bigger box items. The Evil Within's a cool one because it's got like a lenticular brain on the cover. I love this one, it's been cut out as well. Yeah, really nice piece, that one. And then I've got Lego Star Wars Force Awakens, still sealed this one. The reason I wanted to highlight this is just I love these ones that come with Lego minifigures, so obviously if you're going to go for these, the best way is to get them sealed, because then you know that all the pieces are there for those. This is a recent addition, not one that you come across very often. There's very few of these in stock at CEX. So this is Call of Duty, the Modern Warfare trilogy. Only comes with 2 games. One of the game contains 2 of the trilogy, and then of course you've got the 3rd one. I love buying these sort of bundles, these packings of games that have multiple titles in one. You'll see a few of these throughout, and whenever you see these in CEX, my advice is to pick them up because they are somewhat uncommon. And then I've got Dishonored. Really love the artwork on this. You'll be seeing this franchise again on this video. They always seem to go above and beyond with their artwork. And one of my favourites, to be honest, this should well have been the top 10. As I say, the top 10's coming after I go through my collection. This probably should have made it, to be honest. I absolutely love this. Huge God of War fan, as you guys know, and this has become a very expensive piece over the years, the God of War trilogy. So this contains the 3 original games. The first 2 are on the 1 disc, and then you've got God of War 3 packed in here as well. Yeah, just fantastic artwork on this one. And then the last of the PS3 big box items is the Street Fighter X Tekken Special Edition. This has still got its packaging on to some extent. This is cool because this actually comes with a little like homemade arcade inside. It's like a cardboard arcade machine that you can build yourself. So yeah, it's a nice little cool variant, that one. And now we're going to move on to the sleeve covers. Actually no, there's one more big box, sorry. This is slightly bigger than most of the collector's editions I'm going to show today. It's a bit bigger than a standard game, but I just like these kind of books. There's a few of these now. I've got a couple of others. I think Fable's one as well, that comes with like a, yeah, on the side it kind of looks more like a library feel, like a big book feel. Very cool collector's edition, this one. It wasn't expensive when I picked this up, so you can probably find this one if it's something you're interested in. Now we're going to move on to just standard sleeve covers. I tend to only collect PAL, but this is an NTSC, as you can see here by the sort of age rating in the bottom corner. I just loved yeah, like the different elements that are on this sleeve cover. That's why I picked it up. And Assassin's Creed Revelations. The reason I like this is because Revelations, when it comes with this sleeve as well, I love how it's like black box. Most PAL PS3 games do not come like this, and it's just nice to see something different. So this is the Ottoman edition. And Doom 3. This sleeve cover, I think I just like it because it's called the BFG edition, which stands for Big Effing Gun. Yeah, super cool. Call of Juarez. This is done in almost like a leather. I'm not sure if it's really coming through on camera. Yeah, you can just about see it there. Look, very textured. You will be seeing the Call of Juarez again in this video, that's for sure. And then we've got Borderlands and the Borderlands 2. I love it when they sort of implement this. You'll notice throughout this video I don't know all the technical terms, but I really like this embossed metallic text yeah, a lot of effort's gone into these sleeve covers, and these are very, very cheap. You can find these in pretty much every CEX that you go into. And similar with the last one, this is another NTSC variant. Fear 2 didn't come with a sleeve cover here in PAL regions, to my knowledge. This has got like a slight metallic finish to it. And Super Street Fighter 4. There's a few different sleeve covers for Street Fighter 4 on this era. I was trying to collect them all. You will see, I think, another one on the Xbox 360 collection. But I just like the fact that the logo is gloss, and yeah, just fantastic artwork, right? I mean, I love this so much. I ended up doing my whole 360 kiosk in this kind of artwork. Really nice piece. One that you don't see too often, whilst it is just a standard sports game, I think I've only ever seen this once. Yeah, so I had to grab it. Tiger Woods PGA Tour 2012. Vanquish is a lenticular one. Just dropped all my games. Vanquish, as you can see, is lenticular sleeve. And then a really nice piece I added quite recently. The SmackDown vs. Raw 2011, but this is the Hitman edition. Growing up, I was a huge Bret the Hitman Hart fan. Inside here, it's got like a lot of Bret the Hitman Hart merchandise and DLC and that kind of thing. But yeah, just a nice piece, especially if you're a Bret Hitman Hart fan like myself. Now I've picked up all of my games that I've dropped, we are going to move to have a look at the PlayStation 3 Steelbooks. So we're going to start with a recent edition. Shout out to Adam for this 007 Quantum of Solace. Quite classy, quite simple, what you'd expect, right, from James Bond. Again, not one that you see too often, but this sort of like almost British racing green, I'd say, with gold. Yeah, it just works really well. Again, I think this is quite an uncommon one. I've never seen it in store. This is one of my favourites, actually, the Bureau XCOM Declassified. What I like about this is the actual sleeve cover itself has these bits blanked out, so like how you would get sort of official documents in the government, if there were sort of things they didn't want you to see, it would be sort of like, you know, the text would be covered with this. So I just think it's really cool the way that they've done that, implemented it onto the sleeve. Yeah, big fan of things like that. God of War Ascension, again, simple, but exactly what you want it to be. Shout out to Corbin on this one. This is one of my favourites. The Dark Souls 2. What a fantastic steelbook, right? I absolutely love the artwork on this. You'd expect with a Dark Souls game for it to have great artwork, but I mean, look at that. Quality piece that is. And then, similar really with Injustice. You know, if you're looking at any sort of comic book related franchise, you expect the artwork to be on point. And it definitely is with this one. Speaking of, this is a real nice one, this one. You don't see this one too often. So this is Marvel vs. Capcom 3. Apologies for the lighting. It was really difficult. There were so many different lighting options, but often it was giving too much glare. Some of the steelbooks aren't quite showing. But yeah, you can see all the different characters there on Marvel vs. Capcom 3. Just a real nice one, that one. And Soul Calibur 4, the reason I wanted to highlight this one is just the fact that Darth Vader's involved. To see like Darth Vader outside of a Star Wars franchise as part of the Soul Calibur lineup. Yeah, real nice piece, that one. Okay, now we're going to jump to Xbox 360 and we're going to start with Arcana Hearts 3. One of the bigger box ones, but yeah, I mean, lovely artwork on that one. And this is what I was talking about earlier, these sort of double packs. I found this sat in a CEX, I've never seen one before or since. And these are quite rare, quite uncommon. I don't tend to go for Xbox 360 classics, but when you see them in a double pack like this, yeah, you have to pick them up. There doesn't seem to be any rhyme or reason as to what games go together or anything like that, but it's nice that they've got the artwork on the inlays of for both games as well. So yeah, my advice, if you ever see anything like this, any sort of multi-packs, pick them up. Another lenticular one here, The Darkness 2. Cheap game, nice sleeve cover if you can find it. Speaking of which, Dante's Inferno, one of my favourites. I really enjoyed this game. Another lenticular cover, sort of going between heaven and hell. If you played the game, then you'll get that. This is actually listed separately at CEX, so you will have to pay a slight premium on this, but it's not particularly expensive. I think it's like $8 to maybe £12, something like that. Sticking with the lenticular theme, Arkham City. You see these in abundance. So many of these must have been sold with sleeve covers because, yeah, you see these in pretty much every CX store up and down the country. Kane and Lynch, Deadman. This is another personal favourite of mine, Need for Speed Carbon. It's done in such a way that the whole thing is like metallic. A real nice deep finish that they managed to get on this one. A lot of effort's gone into that. And another personal favourite, Prototype 2. I actually have a big box version of this. And again, they made a lot of effort with that. I've never played the game. I bought them both purely based on the artwork that's on the cover. I will get to it one day. But I love how this is, again, embossed. And it's got the metallics on it. Yeah, really nice piece, that one. And just one that you never see. I'm once again dropping all of my games. One that you never see. Pro Evolution Soccer 2009. Somebody messaged me and asked me if I wanted this. I said, yeah, they sent it to me. They found it in a CEX. Obviously a very common game. I've never ever seen this sleeve cover before. Can only assume that it came out in the run-up to release to a tournament. But yeah, never ever seen this sleeve cover apart from on this one. And as I was talking about before, I was going for all the Street Fighter 4 sleeve covers. And here's one of them. Red Faction and Vanquish, similar to the PS3 one. It's lenticular. And then we're moving on to Steelbooks for the 360. So this is Prince of Persia. I love the simplicity of this one. I believe this is like the cel-shaded Prince of Persia that they put out. And I think that the very simple design sort of matches up with the game. Perfect Dark Zero. You always see this in its steelbook format. But very nice artwork and raised. These are ones that I really enjoy as well. Shadow of Mordor. So the whole thing's raised, the whole head. The only annoying thing about this is when you've got them on the shelves, when you're trying to like put your games next to each other, then there's like a bit of a depth discrepancy with this one, but very nice steelbook, this one. And the last one for the 360 is quite an uncommon one. One at one point was quite expensive. I remember this was selling for like £30–40, and that is Castlevania Lords of Shadow. It's since come down in price, but I mean, yeah, absolutely stunning artwork. To me, it looks like sort of like a rock or death metal album cover. You can see this on like a t-shirt, right? Yeah, really nice piece. Happy to have that one. From 360, it only makes sense to go onto Xbox One. This is a staple, right? The Master Chief Collection executed this steelbook absolutely perfectly, in my opinion. It's everything that you would want. This was really cheap. I found this on Amazon last year. Might have been earlier in this year. So this is the bundle edition. So it's got the movie and Mortal Kombat Ultimate 11. But yeah, just fantastic artwork on that one. And one that I didn't know existed until I found it in a CEX. As soon as I saw it, I knew I had to have it. R.I.P. to the GOAT, Mamba himself, Kobe. I love the sort of that art style on this one. It's almost like pastel shading. Yeah, like I say, R.I.P. Kobe Bryant. Just a great way to commemorate him. And then we move on to PlayStation 4. I'm not an avid PlayStation 4 collector, so the majority of my collection is sort of big box and steel books. That's why I've picked them up. This is a really nice one, the Horizon Zero Dawn limited edition, perfect size collector's edition in my opinion. And then it comes with the steelbook, which is, you know, of very similar artwork to the box itself. But yeah, really nice piece. And then we've got Metro Exodus Aurora edition. Quite an interesting one, this one. It's not your standard sleeve cover. It's actually more like a tin. So it's like all metal surrounded. And then the game is in here. So you have to sort of like drop it out. And then you get another steelbook. I haven't played the game. But yeah, nice piece. And these are like prime examples of finding games at the standard price. Can't leave them behind should I find them like that. Another interesting one, you see a few of these dotted about, but I picked it up because I imagine these will be uncommon one day. You don't see them often. And that's the Play and Watch double pack. So this one's Lego Ninjago. So this basically come with the game and the movie. I found this in a crack converters, I believe. But yeah, just not ones that you come across too often. And one that I bought purely for the artwork. I did actually try to play the game, but these sort of Souls-like games aren't for me. And that is Neo 2. Absolutely stunning artwork on this one. And if we take a look at the steelbook, yeah, really nice. And that's how I think of these. I think of them as like works of art. Sleeve covers and steelbooks for me sort of like are there to enhance the already existing artwork and to show it off in a physical, tangible way. And then we've got one that did become quite expensive, somewhat uncommon to find, and that was the Batman Arkham Collection. And simplicity at its finest, I think. This is everything that I want in a Steelbook. Street Fighter 5. I mean, it's nothing revolutionary, right? It is what it says it is. But for me, that's just perfection. That's exactly what I want it to be. Perfect for the game itself. And then lastly, on the PlayStation 4, Sekiro Shadows Die Twice. This was a day one exclusive, I think, with Game. I bought this from Game and they gave me this Steelbook. Yeah, nice. And now we're going to move on to my favourite systems to collect sleeve covers for, and that is PlayStation 2. You just don't find them very often. When you do, they're usually beat up. Again, Need for Speed Carbon, similar to the one we've already looked at. For some reason, to me, it just looks even better on a PlayStation 2 format. Love that. We've got Lara Croft, Tomb Raider Legend, and Tomb Raider Anniversary. And then there's the classic, right? Grand Theft Auto, Rockstar Games double pack. You open it up, you get both iconic pieces of artwork with the two games. There's actually a trilogy pack of this as well, which has become quite expensive. But yeah, just an absolute classic. One of my favourite Disney movies, WALL-E, with its nice lenticular cover. Shout out to WALL-E. Underrated Disney film in my opinion. And yeah, just a nice one to have. A very recent addition, Devil May Cry 3. Quite a simple one, this one. But like I say, I just love all the PlayStation 2 sleeve covers. And Onimusha 3. And another nice find was Evil Dead. So this is a special movie edition. So this comes with the Evil Dead 2 DVD and the Evil Dead A Fistful of Boomstick game. So yeah, nice one for the collection. Okay, in time for Wii U now. Wii U is one of my favourite to collect for because they're also uniform. I love that. I wish more consoles did sort of special editions and big boxes, more uniformity like these. They all match up, they all sit really nicely on the shelf together. So we've got Super Mario Maker, Lego City Undercover, which again comes with a Lego minifigure, Bayonetta and Bayonetta 2. This one's a really nice one, the Xenoblade Chronicles X. There is a Steelbook in here as well. Let's get it out to show you guys. Yeah, really nice artwork on that one. There's not too many Steelbooks for the Wii U. There is actually one in here as well. Star Fox. And lastly, Project Zero, Maiden of Blackwater. And we're going to finish with one of my favourite consoles to collect these for. I love most bits of Nintendo cardboard, right? We're going to kick off with Rapala's Fishing Frenzy. So we're of course talking about the Nintendo Wii. Now if this was just a standard game, this is like a prime example of something I would not be interested in picking up. But when you see this big box, all its bright colours, it just looks so good on the shelf. It comes with a fishing rod and yeah, for me this is what these sort of big boxes are all about, right? So yeah, Rapala's Fishing Frenzy. One that I never hear anybody talk about. I've never even seen this, I don't think, in anybody else's collection. Very uncommon. I find this really cheap. Red Steel 2. I mean, look at that artwork. Yeah, I'd like to find one myself because this has got a little bit of crushing on it. Just, yeah, I want to get this forward facing in the room. I think this is a fantastic display box. I really do. Super Mario Galaxy 2. You can find these in your local CX if you're lucky enough. The Conduit. House of the Dead Overkill. Quite a simple one this, but it comes with like a comic book and things like that. Smash Bros Brawl. I found this quite a few times in various different CX stores. This is a nice one to get if you can grab it. And one of my personal favourites, right? Again, a game I'd have no interest in normally, Wii Music, but I just love the fact that they've put the musical note, like they've cut it out, and then it works perfectly with the actual game underneath, so incorporating the game and the sleeve cover. I love it when they show that sort of innovation. Yeah, I really like that one. And then lastly, before we get into my top 10, a very recent addition, Pandora's Tower. Fantastic artwork on this one. Real sort of like matte grey black, and then that sort of like gloss finish on the main characters. Really pops. Yeah, I think that's pretty much most of the ones that I want to show you. There's loads more in the collection, but yeah, I've just tried to pick out some of my favourites. Now, let's look at my top 10. Retro Ghetto. Right, okay, so I hope that you guys enjoyed taking a look at some of my collection, but now it's time for me to deep dive into my favourite variants, and we're going to kick it off with a very recent find, and that is Dragon Ball Raging Blast Limited Edition Steelbook on the Xbox 360. I found this on a very recent hunt to CEX, and unlike a lot of the variants that you've seen today, this was not a standard price. I paid a lot of money for this. I don't think I've ever paid more for an Xbox 360 title, and I don't think I've ever paid more for a Steelbook. This was £38, which to somebody as frugal as myself when it comes to collecting, that is a lot of money, but hopefully you'll see on camera why. I didn't even know this existed. It was very much an impulse purchase, but one I do not regret. I fell in love with it. There's something about this artwork. It's just stunning. It really is everything that you want from a Steelbook. It makes use of the metallic, the colours pop. It comes with an art book and everything else, but yeah, I knew as soon as I saw this I had to have it. It really is one of my favourite Steelbooks in my entire collection, and yeah, very, very happy to have Dragon Ball Raging Blast in the collection. Next up, we have one which is a lot cheaper than the one we just looked at. This is not necessarily uncommon. You can find this quite regularly in your local CEX stores. It's a relatively modern game, but the reason that I wanted it on this list is, I don't know, there's just something about the artwork. Look, this is probably going to be a bit of a Marmite choice. Some people might see this and think it's quite basic, but for me it's just perfection. And that is the sleeve cover for Hideo Kojima's Death Stranding. On the face of it, it's just relatively, dare I say, boring, but when you get it in your hand and it's that kind of matte black and grey, and then that gold skull, the metallic of it, it just pops. I think it's absolute perfection. And even on the reverse, where it's got like almost a metallic grey skyline, and then it's just got the sort of gloss and the Kojima Productions. Yeah, sometimes doing things simply is the hardest way to do things, because any imperfections show, and if you're going to do something simple, you'd best do it brilliantly, and this is like a piece of art as far as I'm concerned. Like I say, this is quite widely available. If you like this one, you shouldn't have too many problems picking it up. This cost me just £6. But yeah, I think this deserves a place on my top 10 simply because, yeah, I just think it's perfection. Right, okay, before we jump into this next one, I should say these aren't necessarily in any specific order. The second one I show you is not going to be necessarily more favoured to me than the fifth one I show you, except for maybe the last 2 or 3, which I'd probably say are my ultimate favourites. And there's various different reasons why they're in here, mostly for the aesthetics, what they look like, but also because I like ingenuity. As you've already seen with some of the games that we've highlighted today, I love when these companies think outside the box and still give you new ways to package these fantastic games, and this highlights it for me. So this is Need for Speed Shift, the special edition, and when you take it out of the sleeve cover, it's basically like a tyre. It even has that sort of rubberized feel about it. So you've got like 3 layers to this. You have the sleeve cover, and then you have this on top, which, like I say, is just like a tyre. Again, I just love the innovation behind it. I think it's fantastic. I've never seen anything else quite like it, and I don't see too many of these out and about either. So yeah, I was really happy to be adding this to my collection. Next up, we have, for the Nintendo Wii, Akami. This one, it's not doing anything outside of the box. This isn't anything revolutionary. There's nothing sort of ingenious about this design. I just love the design. I think the artwork is stunning. This is one I actually took to eBay to find. I saw it once by mistake when I was looking for something else on eBay, and I thought, oh, that's a sleeve cover that I don't have, and I sort of want to get them all for the Nintendo Wii. And when I got it, I was so glad that I did, because yeah, it's absolutely stunning. It might not come through on camera, but this artwork, it really lends itself to a game which is famous for its art style. It's almost done in like a watercolour, but then the title of the game, it's sort of like embossed, it rises, and then there's the gloss of Akami himself. Yeah, it's very nice. This might be one that you don't really fully appreciate until it's in your hand. But another one that I don't see too often, I'd definitely say this is an uncommon sleeve cover, so if you are lucky enough to find this in your local CEX, definitely pick this one up. Next up is another recent addition. And another one which isn't anything outside of the box. Yet again, I'm using that term, right? Because, well, the reason I love it is because I enjoyed the game. I'm a huge hip-hop fan, and it's just one you don't see very often at all. And that is 50 Cent Bulletproof. It's just simplicity once again at its finest. I love the sort of red metallic. I love that it says limited edition box. I even like the fact that it says written by the Sopranos, Terry Winter. I'm a big Sopranos fan. I'm a big hip-hop fan. And I think more so what adds to it for me is that you don't get too many sleeve covers for the PlayStation 2, and when you do find them, they obviously are regularly quite battered. They're obviously quite yellowed at times, quite beat up due to the age and whatnot. Whereas this one's in fantastic condition, and just one that I've never ever seen out and about in the wild. I didn't even know this existed until recently. I had to take to eBay to get this, but I was very happy that I did so, and yeah, I just think it looks fantastic. Next up is one that I think looks great, but not only that, it's just a fantastic game, and that obviously adds to it, right? And that is Red Dead Redemption. You might be lucky enough to find this. I've seen 2 or 3 of these out and about. Shout out to Kev, he has asked for the next one. He saw mine in my collection and he said if you find another one, let me know. So if I do find another one, it is going over to Kev. What I really enjoy about this is not only the sort of the metallic, the red shine that it comes with, but also the fact it opens up from the front. Not a design that you see too often, and it just gives you a really nice scene from the game itself. And I just think it displays really nicely. This is one that I do have forward facing here in the games room, and yeah, I just think it's a classic game, and to have a classic sleeve cover, it just, yeah, it marries very well. Okay, so next up is a prime example of a collector's edition or a special edition, but a small one that's relatively the same size as the games. You can put them on the shelf alongside the games, and that's absolutely what I want when it comes to collector's editions. This was one that I was fortunate enough to find in CEX. They don't have it on their database as a separate entity, so I got this for the standard game price, which adds to it in my opinion, right? And that is Far Cry Primal. Now you might be looking at this thinking, well, what's so special about that? And it's just one of these things that once you take the sleeve cover off, right, it's this. So then you're met with this secondary box, and again, relatively simple, but just executed perfectly. I love that when you open it, it's opening in sort of like the skull or the teeth almost of like a saber-toothed tiger or whatever it may be from the game. I just think it was so well done. It just works perfectly, the way it just slots in and out like that. And as you might have noticed with a lot of things in this video, it's almost like small things amuse small minds, right? But I really enjoy it, and that's what the collecting's all about, right? It's finding these things that you enjoy, that bring a smile to your face, as you can see. And every time I pop the sleeve cover off this one and I open it up, it definitely brings a smile to my face. So yeah, I was very happy to find this for the standard price. Right, okay, so with just 3 left, we've reached that part of the video where we get into my favourite 3 now. The rest weren't necessarily in order, but these, I just love these. First one is Call of Juarez, The Cartel. Now, most Call of Juarez games, or games from this series, have sleeve covers, but this one, again, it's that innovation, right? This comes with like, what do they call it, like a bandolier, forgive my pronunciation, but basically a belt of bullets. And what I love about it is it's magnetised on the side. I found this in CEX, luckily it was in fantastic condition. But on the side it has like a little magnetic strip there underneath the cardboard, and then you can sort of remove the bandolier to get to the game. And yeah, I just love that. I think it's fantastic. I just wish more game companies would do things like this, especially in modern day. I just don't think people give these games the love that they deserve. I think often nowadays it's a race against time to get it out for a date. They give you the bog standard game, there's no instructions in it, there's nothing but the box, and it's like, you might enjoy the game, but the actual physical element of having it in your hand, the tactile nature of it, isn't what it used to be. This for me sums up what it used to be, specifically in this era of gaming. As you would have seen, my 360 and PS3 collections of these are abundant. There were so many released back then, right? It was all about catching your eye on the shelf, and without going into too much of a rant, I think that's part of the problem. We don't really have video games on the shelves much anymore, and we certainly won't have them for much longer. So finding these is like finding artifacts for me, right? And yeah, I just think this is absolutely fantastic. Whilst this is innovative, and it wouldn't be innovative if somebody copied it, I wouldn't care if somebody copied it. It's so cool. I just love this design element, I really do. Right, okay, and next up is one that I'm not sure will come through on camera. I don't think I've seen this before. I think there is another sleeve cover variant of this, but this specific one, I don't think I've seen another copy. And that is Heavy Rain. Now this again is one of them ones that you probably have to have in your hand to really appreciate it. I'll try my best to show you guys on camera, but it's been done in such a way to mimic rain, but it's been done to perfection. This box just looks like it's got rain teeming down, like a torrential downpour on a window almost. That real sort of glossy like element to it where like the raindrops are coming down. Yeah, like I say, I hope it comes through on camera half as well as it does in real life. It almost looks like when you touch it, you'd expect your fingers to be wet. And yeah, I mean, obviously it ties in with the game. I think it's just perfection, I really do. And that's Heavy Rain. And that takes me to my favourite. This is my favourite for various reasons. I actually made a video about this one saying it was my favourite CX find ever, and I still pretty much stand by that to this day. This cost me just £3, I believe, and that is WWE 13 or 2K13. Now this is the Stone Cold edition. Now the sleeve cover's pretty cool. I was a huge fan of Stone Cold growing up. I was sort of like the perfect storm for me. I was getting into my early teenage years when the Attitude Era was at its height, right? So for me, the anti-hero of Stone Cold, like, he was everything to me. Yeah, so the sleeve cover's cool. It's got like the metallic on the skull, but it's what's inside really as much as anything else. So this comes with a Stone Cold like documentary DVD, all sorts of additional extras in here. But the big thing for me that sort of like made this a winner for my £3 of finding this on the shelf at CEX, a hand-signed Stone Cold Steve Austin card inside. Yeah, I mean, this would have been like my teenage dreams come true, right? Well, my teenage dreams that I can talk about on camera come true, that's for sure. And yeah, I absolutely love this thing. Huge Stone Cold fan, and to find a signed copy, yeah, for just £3, you can't beat that. I want to thank you guys for taking the time to watch, and I really want to know what of my collection you've seen today do you wish you had in your collection? Equally, what am I missing? What do you have or have you seen out and about that you think are some of the best and most innovative designs on video game covers that I'm missing from my collection? As always, play your games, keep it retro. We've got a Sunday vlog special dropping. We're going to be doing a Q&A on that as well. So anything that you want to ask me, let me know in the comment section and we'll get to that on Sunday. But thank you very much for watching. I'll see you in a bit. Take care.
Welcome to the Retro Get Show.
Yeah.
Get roll.
Lock into the retro ghetto.